Hello everyone. Did you know that there are many beautiful hiking trails in South Korea? A lot of people only travel to cities like Seoul and Busan, but South Korea has many stunning mountains and excellent public transportation, making it very easy for travelers to enjoy hiking. Today, I'm going to introduce you to 5 beautiful hiking trails in South Korea, along with tips on how to get there by public transportation to make your trip easier. All the video footage you are watching is taken from the trails I will recommend. Before we get started, I'm Hiking Jirisan, a Korean hiking YouTuber who has been running a hiking YouTube channel in Korea for the past 4 years. I've made over 450 videos and have over 100,000 subscribers. I believe I am one of the best people to tell you about the best trails in Korea. I usually make my content in Korean, but today's video is in English for international viewers. Korean viewers may already know these trails, but it will be fun to see which mountains are selected. These 5 trails are easily accessible by public transportation, even if you don't speak any Korean, and they have English signs on the trail so that foreigners can easily find their way. I added links to GPX files and other information in the More section for those who want to visit. Let's get started. The first trail I recommend is Bukhansan Mountain, a national park located in Seoul, the capital of South Korea. Having a national park in the capital is not common, and many people are surprised to hear that it's accessible by subway from Seoul. It's also one of the most beautiful mountains in Korea, which is why this mountain is my first recommendation. There are about 30 trails on Bukhansan Mountain, but the most recommended trail is the Dosunsa Trail, which is the shortest one to the summit, Baekhyundae. You can start at Bukhansan UE Station's Exit 2 and walk to Dosunsa Temple. Or you can take a taxi to Dosunsa Temple, which costs about $6. If you walk to Dosunsa Temple, it is 2.4 kilometers and takes about 1 hour. From Dosunsa Temple, follow the signs to Baekhyundae Peak. It is about 2 kilometers to summit, but it is a steady climb that usually takes about 1.5 hours, so the difficulty level is moderate, which means most people can hike to Baekhyundae. However, it is very rough and may trigger fear of heights near the summit, even though there are safety bars. So, be careful if you are afraid of heights, and it is recommended to wear proper hiking shoes to prevent slipping. My favorite trail on Bukhansan Mountain is the Bibong Trail, which starts from Bulgwang Station on Line 3. However, it's hard to recommend because it's not easy to find the trailhead and get back to the subway station after hiking. I've linked the GPX anyway in the More section in case you are interested. The second mountain I want to introduce is Seoraksan, which is my favorite mountain in Korea. Seoraksan is the 3rd highest mountain in Korea, standing at 1,708 meters. I believe Seoraksan is as beautiful as other famous mountains in the world. There are about 20 different trails on Seoraksan. The best trail to visit during your travel is the Hangyeryong Trail, which starts from Hangyeryong Pass and goes up to the summit, Daechongbong. It's not a short trail, around 8.3 kilometers, and takes 5 hours to the summit. But it's not that difficult because the trailhead is over 900 meters. The first 1.5 hours will be quite steep, but the view gets better and the slope becomes gentler from the Hangyeryong Junction. The shortest downhill path is the Osaeg Trail, which is around 5 kilometers from the summit, Daechongbong. It takes around 3.5 hours and is very steep with a 1,300-meter descent. It's 13-kilometer hike, taking over 8 hours in total. So, I recommend this trail to those who are used to hiking. You can take a bus from East Seoul Bus Terminal to Hangyeryong, the trailhead. I recommend taking the first bus at 6:30 a.m. because it usually takes around 9 hours. You can have a meal near Osaeg Mineral Spring after hiking and take the last bus at 7:15 p.m. back to East Seoul. It's good to book a bus in advance because it can be fully booked on weekends. Also, carry all necessary food and water from Seoul, as there are no places to resupply on the trail. If it's too long and tough for you, you can also consider Hulrimgol Valley, which you can reach by the same bus. You can get off at Hulrimgol Entrance and hike Hulrimgol and Jujungol Valley. The hike ends at Osaeg Mineral Spring, and you can take same bus to Seoul. This trail is around 6 kilometers and takes 4 hours. You will be able to see the beautiful valleys of Seoraksan. This trail requires reservations, but foreigners can't make it by yourselves. You can make a reservation by using the inquiry section on the Korean National Park Service website, linked in the More section after registration. The next hiking trail I recommend is Hallasan, located on Jeju Island. Hallasan is the highest mountain in South Korea, standing at 1,147 meters. It is an active volcano located in the center of Jeju Island and is one of the most beautiful sights on the island. Despite its title as Korea's highest peak, Hallasan is not that difficult because most of the trail is not steep, so it's usually accessible to those who are not familiar with hiking. However, the summit, Bukhansan, requires endurance as it is around a 20-kilometer round trip that takes over 9 hours on average. There are 2 trails to go up to Bukhansan, Seongpanag Trail and Gwanumsa Trail. The Seongpanag Trail is easier, but the Gwanumsa Trail has a better view, so I personally recommend going up from Gwanumsa and coming down to Seongpanag. Reservations are required in advance for both trails, and I added a link to the website where you can make a reservation in the More section. To get there, you can take bus 281 or 181 from Jeju Bus Terminal to the Seongpanag Trailhead. I recommend taking a taxi to the Gwanumsa Trailhead because there is no direct bus. It's not too expensive, around 15 USD. To be honest, I recommend the Yongsil Trail more than the Bukhansan hike because it is shorter, much easier, and has better views. You can get to Yongsil by taking bus 240 from Jeju Bus Terminal. You can hike up to the Wisorium shelter and hike down to Eorimog, then return to downtown Jeju with the same bus. It's about a 10-kilometer hike and takes about 5 hours. This trail is much easier than other Hallasan trails, but it offers one of the most beautiful views in Hallasan, so I definitely recommend it. Next, the 4th trail I will introduce is Jirisan, known as the Mother Mountain. Jirisan, standing at 1,915 meters, is the 2nd highest mountain and the highest inland mountain in South Korea. It is considered a sacred mountain in Korea, along with Bukhansan in North Korea. While Seoraksan is famous for its rugged scenery, Jirisan is known for its gentle slopes that give a comforting feeling like a mother. The gentle slopes of Jirisan also mean that it is easier than Seoraksan, although it is still a challenging 7.5-kilometer one-way trek that takes about 5 hours. The best way to reach Jirisan by public transportation is to take a direct bus from East Seoul Bus Terminal to Bagmudong. If you take the bus departing at midnight, you will arrive at Bagmudong around 4 a.m. From there, you can easily find the signs to the summit, Cheonwangbong. There is Jangtaeomog shelter and water supply on the trail, which is a good place to have breakfast. From there, you can continue to hike to Cheonwangbong with its breathtaking views. I recommend going to Siseog Shelter and Hanshin Valley if you are not tired when you come back to Jangtaeomog Shelter, instead of going down to Bagmudong directly. The distance will be about 4 kilometers longer, but the scenery from Jangtaeomog Shelter to Siseog Shelter is stunning, and Hanshin Valley is also quite impressive. It's about a 15-kilometer and 9-hour hike if you just go to the summit and back from Bagmudong, and it's 19 kilometers and 12 hours if you stop by Siseog Shelter. The last bus from Bagmudong to East Seoul is at 6 p.m., so it is recommended to choose the trail according to your physical level. The final trail I will introduce is the Hanyang-Doseong Trail, also known as the Seoul City Wall Trail. Seoul used to be the capital of Hanyang during the Joseon dynasty. 8 gates and walls were built along the border of Hanyang to protect the city. The route follows 4 mountains in Seoul: Inwangsan, Bukhansan, Nagsan, and Namsan. It is about a 20-kilometer hike and takes around 9 hours. It's not too challenging because all 4 mountains are shorter than 400 meters. While the other trails I've introduced today show the beautiful nature of Korea, the Seoul City Wall Trail will show you a 14th-century wall amidst Seoul's urban landscape, including Korea's #1 heritage, Sungri-moon Gate, and Hungin-jamun Gate. You'll also pass by various historical sites. You can also get a fantastic view of Jonggro and Gyeongbagung Palace since this trail is in the city center. This means you'll experience not only the beautiful scenery, but also modern-day Seoul, Japanese-era Seoul, and Joseon Dynasty-era Hanyang. You can start anywhere along the wall and return to the starting point, but I recommend starting at Dongdaemun Station on Line 4, which is close to the subway station, and where you can get a stamped tour sheet. I suggest walking counterclockwise to avoid the steep trail of Bukhansan Mountain. The path is very winding but well marked. I still recommend downloading the GPX file because there are many confusing paths. Visiting just in Hwangsan Mountain is also a great way to enjoy the Seoul City Wall if you prefer a shorter trail. It takes about 2 to 3 hours and still offers a very nice view. These are the 5 hiking courses I have prepared for today. All of them are excellent, but I particularly recommend Bukhansan, Seoraksan, and the Seoul City Wall Trail. As a reminder, I have linked the GPX files and other helpful information in the description, so please check them out. I hope this helps you enjoy your travels in Korea. This was Hiking Jirisan. Thank you and have fun in Korea.